everyone, it's Tanya from Royal City Nursery, and it's seed starting time. But before we actually start our seeds, we're going to answer a really common question, which is, how the heck do I know when to put these darn things in the ground or at home? So let's take a look at the back of a seed package. Now this is OSC, so this is one of our locals out of Kitchener-Waterloo. Love OSC, carried them for years. They're doing a beautiful package change. This information is still the same, but the packages do look a little bit different. Let's take a look. Right now we're going to take a look at a radish. If we turn it over, what's super important to know with any seed is this number here, days to harvest. This one is 24 days, and if I choose a tomato, we've got 70 days here. What that means is you actually need to do a little bit of backwards math. Think about when these normally would harvest. So tomatoes are normally a summertime crop, right? So if we're harvesting in mid to end of July, then you actually need to count back 70 days to get these in the ground at the right time. Now, realistically, can you put them in earlier? Absolutely. Do we do it? Sometimes it means we've got tomatoes in the house and in the living room for 2 months. Never a good thing. But if we take a look at the rest of the package, it will tell us a few things. So again, we've talked about those days to harvest. Gives us a little bit of a description about the actual plant itself. So this one produces medium tops that get roughly about 3 inches high. It is beautiful in sandy or drier soils. Take that dry soil with a grain of salt, because if this is dry, like permanently dry, your seeds aren't going to grow at all. If we take a look at the next part, it tells us some sowing instructions. So radishes are fantastic. You want to sow these seeds every couple of weeks, starting in early spring or very, very late summer. Radishes don't like the heat, so we're not going to sow a radish in July and early August. They don't like the 40 degrees, no different than the people. But you can start these fairly early. They're a nice cool season crop. And if you keep seeding them every couple of weeks, that means you're going to get a continuous harvest. Do exactly the same thing with your spinach and your lettuce, all your greens, so you're getting a continuous crop. Now if we keep going a little bit more, it's got some general information. So this one is rapid growth is essential for very tender roots to keep the soil evenly moist. Perfect. Most seeds are going to like that. They want to be evenly moist. We don't want to let our seeds go really dry and then get really wet. They get confused and then they just give up, and that's not what we want. The other thing we're going to do is take a look at this. So planting depth on a radish, 1 centimeter or less than ½ an inch deep. That's not very much. So on a radish, you're actually going to put the seeds out, put them on the surface of the soil, and then just do a little bit of a scuff. If we take a look at the tomato, planting depth is 1/4 inch. So we're just a tiny, tiny bit deeper. The other thing the packages will say is the seed spacing. So this one wants to be 3 inches apart. So realistically, if I'm going to start these in a seed tray, what I'm going to actually do is start 2 or 3 seeds in one of those little cells, and then once they get up about an inch or 2 high, I'm going to tease them apart, and now I'm going to space them to 3 inches. So that's our tomato. Our row width can go up to 24 inches, and we want to thin to 24 inches. What the heck does that actually mean? When we're thinning, what it means is we're going to take the little seedlings and we're going to spread them apart so they're not touching each other. We need to give those plants space to actually grow, right? So we got to remember, seeds are itty bitty. They don't need a lot of space to get started, but as the plant grows, it needs space to flush out. So that's what the thin to part means. That's this particular tomato. If we go back to that radish, again, our planting depth on that radish is less than ½ an inch. Our seed space, ½ an inch. It's a radish, it's going to be little. Our rows can be 12 inches wide, and we want to thin these to 1.5 inches. So again, that means for every seed or every plant that's germinated, we want them to be about 1.5 inches. If you're doing sprouts, because radishes make awesome sprouts that you can actually start indoors and eat anytime, you can get them a little bit closer so you don't have to worry too much about your spacing. But I hope that helps. All the information you need for germinating your seeds is on the back of the packages. We just need to decode them a bit. Talk to you soon.